Hey guys, so I'm going to show you some watercolor painting resist techniques, and we'll do a little experiment here because I've put on my crayons and you can see I've pushed hard and then I've got softer, so we'll see how well the paint covers that or how well it is resisted by it. So we know when we're going to use watercolor, we dip our brush and then the water that's stuck to the bristles we can wipe gently and it will start to turn into paint. We have a little paint that I'm going to go across, and we can see that the paint is not sticking to the color. It's kind of hard to see here because yellow is such a light color, but you can see it's going into the spots where I didn't color good, and it's not sticking to the spots where I did color good. Okay, so you gotta brush, wash your brush completely in between colors. I also want to think about what if you don't get enough water. Okay, so I made a little puddle of paint there, and I am going to wipe it across. You see how as I wipe across, I lose the paint? I don't have to go straight back to the paint every time. I can get water by itself and spread. You can see how it's not sticking. To the crayon. So I don't have to go back to the paint. If I keep going to the paint over and over again and not get enough water, I'll make thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker paint. So now this paint's really concentrated. I just rubbed the paint and paint and paint, and I didn't get any more water. I didn't paint with it. I just mixed it and mixed it and mixed it. And so when I go here, look how dark it is and how it's covering some of the color. If you paint the same spot over and over again, or if you make your paint too thick, your resist isn't going to work. You can see how it's barely covering these spots, even though this crayon's resisting it. Let's try some red. Well, it's kind of maroon, huh? So look how these different colors are more vibrant depending on what color they're against. And you see how my white, you couldn't tell I had white there before, huh? My white's showing up because I colored really hard with white right here, but then I didn't color as hard, and you can see the paint starting to get in the cracks. But these light colors, like the yellow and the orange with a lot of water, these dark colors show up good on them. But then a dark color, the light color shows up better. Red, orange. Let's try some purple. See how it doesn't stick to that light color? Let's put some more water and no paint and see if we can spread it out. So I don't necessarily have to get paint every time. If I want the color to get lighter, I need to put more water and no more paint. I don't have to go back to the paint every time I dip my brush. Got some blue. If I want it darker, I'm going to get more paint. If I want it lighter, I'm going to get more water. It's not sticking. You can see it's even bubbling up a little bit on the color because it's not sticking to it. It's making these little bubbles. green. Alright. Got some neutral colors I could try, some brown. And if the paint's really thick, it covers up my color, even if I colored hard. So you make sure you're putting enough water and not painting the same spot over and over again. See? Covered up my color because it was thick. The resist only works if it's watery, because the crayon wax is resisting the water. And so if your paint's not watery, it's not going to resist. Okay. So there's my test strip. So you can see which colors show up best. You know, if you're making stuff with a lot of green in it and then you paint the background green, they blend together. It doesn't show up super well. So think about what colors you're going to use. Okay. So I've already done a resist picture here. And you'll see as I start painting it that it's going to reveal all the color work I've done. You can see some of the black color work. It's very easy to tell what I did. But as I start painting, you can see it's revealing any light colors or white that I used that you might not have known that I used, because you can't see white on white paper, right? Now I'm being careful to wash my brush in between colors and to not go back and go mix the colors that I don't want mixed. If I were to go down like that, all these nice color layers I made would get mixed together, and I wouldn't see these nice different colors that I want. I would just see brown. And now I might go around the edge with a little black, make it nighttime. Remember, if you want them to blend, just use water, no paint. So there's one I did. This one. And I had some kids come to me and complain and said, there's hardly any paint in there, I need a new palette. Just because you can see the bottom of it doesn't mean all this isn't still good paint. I can use all that paint that's in there, even the stuff on the edges, because you're making the paint palette, right? I mean, you're making the paint palette into paint. It's dry, and then you put water on it and make it into paint. Bring all these little fish to life. I'm not pushing my brush hard. I'm just wiping back and forth with enough water. I don't want it to be so much water that it drips. I always want to spread out any puddles. But I don't want so little water that it's thick and covers up my resist and never dries right. I want to be just right, like Goldilocks and Three Bears. Just the right amount. Not too thin, not too thick. like I said, you can go back straight to water. You don't have to get color every time. But if it's too light, you go back and you get some more color. Alright, and I'm just kind of dusting off those little paint bubbles off of my fishies. Okay, and there's my resists. Hope you got some good ideas. Bye.